All right. Well, thank you everyone for being on with us tonight, and welcome to our quick webinar on thriving through the holidays. We're really excited. I personally love doing this because it just helps me, like the teacher always learns the most. So I definitely knew I needed this just to kind of button some things up before the holiday season gets going in full force. So there we go. I just wanted to introduce my co-presenters. I've got Ember Brown and Tracy Schreibeis on the line with me. They are both certified health coaches with Take Shape for Life and business coaches. So it is a pleasure to have them on with me. And just so you know kind of where we're coming from, our desire is to assist you to thrive through the holidays and to show you that that is an option. So some of you on the line might be thinking, oh, I'll just wait till after the holidays. So our question is, wait for what? Do you want more energy? Do you want to feel better? Do you want to sleep better? And do you want to be comfortable and fit into those holiday outfits? So my suspicion is, my suspicion is that you do want that because you made the time to be on this webinar tonight. So really think about, like, what is your plan for the holiday season? What would be your ideal outcome? And what I really want to empower you with is you have the power. Like, it is your choice. Like, every decision that's made this, for the next month, month and a half, it's your choice and you have the power. Tracy, I know you kind of love talking about the numbers. So let me take you off mute. There you go.
Okay, I think that this is super powerful. So there's 37 days left in the year, and if you're eating 6 healthy meals a day on average, that's 222 meals left for the year. So that's awesome. Like, I know that we kind of have a tendency to live in this like under this umbrella of it's the holidays, and I'm just gonna let it go until January 1st. But if you think about it in terms of that, like, you have 222 like options to choose health. So even if you want to give yourself grace and think about whether it's Christmas steak dinner with your grandparents, or your, our anniversary is New Year's Eve, so chances are that's going to be a night where I give myself grace to choose, maybe make a few unhealthy choices. But in the realm of the next 37 days, I have 222 choices to make. And if I can limit the unhealthy ones to just maybe 5 to 7 out of that 222, like, you break it down that way, and it's a little bit less scary. I mean, I think it's a little bit more approachable, and we can kind of overcome this idea that we just have to wait until New Year's, because, I mean, really, why? So, am I up on? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm up on this one too. So a lot of the people that are going to be watching this webinar are going to be Take Shape clients, but this applies to a lot of people. But I feel like we, as Take Shape clients or as Take Shape coaches, we've got 3 different options to approach the next 37 days, right? We have a lot of knowledge under our belt, even for some of our newer clients. I mean, I have people that have just started in the last week or maybe 10 days, and they're learning a lot, and they've got a lot of tools to help them sort of navigate the next few days, or next few weeks, I guess I should say, to approach, I guess, the holidays with a little bit more strategy than normal. So,
well, and you were like one of the, like, a rock star client, right? So I know that option 1's your favorite, so we're going to let you tackle that one. So go ahead and tell us what that would look like.
Okay, so option number 1 is obviously just to stay full program, and probably a little bit threatening to some people to be able to do that, but there's a lot of benefits to doing that. For one thing, you're going to feel good. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be able to do all of the things with all the people you want to do them with. My parents are in town right now. Thanksgiving, we are shopping. We went to Chuck E. Cheese today. We went out to a really great dinner at Chili's, and oh my goodness, they have great lean and green options. And we're having fun. My mom's on full program. My dad is working on getting his cholesterol down, and we are having a blast just hanging out and doing all the fun holiday things. but we don't feel icky all day long. On top of that, you're going to be losing weight all through the holidays, and you're going to look great at all your gatherings, whether it's your spouse's work, holiday party, or if it's seeing some family that you haven't seen in 6 or 12 months, and you're going to rock that little black dress, and that's really exciting, right? And on top of that, you're going to approach every family gathering. If you're on full program, you're going to have fewer cravings. You're not going to feel super hungry. You're going to be able to say no with authority instead of just feeling like you're triggered by whatever it is that's present and available to you at that time. And on top of that, you're going to stay in fat burning, and that is just euphoria for me. Like, that just feels good, right? It's like a drug. It's awesome. Why not?
Oh, I love it. I love your enthusiasm.
I am. And on top of that, this is just totally personal. This isn't on the slide, but if you choose option one, there's a lot of psychological benefits that go along with that. Like, if there's a lot of self-sabotage and like negative self-talk that go along if you don't do that through the holidays, and I feel like a lot of us have the option to enter into 2015 with kind of a Debbie Downer feeling, and we can completely avoid that if we want to. So
beautiful. All right, well, let's go. So I love that we have choices. Like, that's so powerful. So Ember, why don't you tell us about option 2?
And I love option number 2. Thanks, Tracy. For option number 2, this is for people that want a compromise, which is right up my alley. So just in full transparency, I will be opting for option number 2. And that, what that looks like is staying on program, except for those holiday meals, and being very strategic and looking, I recommend, and I do this, looking at my week at a glance, figuring out what events do I have coming up, which ones are worth it to me to get off a program. And I will give myself grace during those because I want to enjoy those things, but I will stay on program for the other 4 or 5 meals a day using my meal replacements, and almost feeling like I can enjoy those occasions guilt-free. Sorry, I'm getting some feedback, so it's kind of distracting me. But knowing that that's an option, also keeping in mind though that it will throw you out of fat burn. And so that's your choice to make, and you have to decide, is it worth it to you to get out of fat burn mode? And if your events are spaced out enough, you could feasibly get back on program and get into fat burn again, and still, you could even still have some weight loss. I know that I was, like Tracy, I was a rock star for the first 2 months on program, and then I started giving myself a little more leeway, and I tend to like to push the envelope and see what I can get away with. And so I know what those limits are for me. But just again, knowing that you have that option, that you will get out of fat burn. So you may experience some of those side effects that come with that, the low energy and the hunger and the cravings, and just slowing down your weight loss, and asking yourself, is it worth it to me to start back, to get back to fat burn again? So I think option 2 is, like you said, Tracy, less threatening and maybe more realistic for people. You have to figure out what is realistic for you. This is not a one size fits all. This is something that you want to set yourself up for success.
I love that. And Ember, like you said, you'll probably still lose with option 2 because you are just choosing those choice meals to go off of program. But other than that, you're sticking to the 5 and 1. You're having your 5 meal replacements and your 1 lean and green. The third option that you consider would be to go into maintenance. And for a lot of people, like, this is going to be considered a success because the typical American is going to gain 7 pounds over the holiday season. So if you could just maintain your weight loss up until this point, that might be the option that you want to choose too. So what that would look like is still eating 6 times a day, still getting the water in that you can. So still having those really good habits that, like eating within 30 minutes of waking up. So some of the things that you've been learning on program and that you can still incorporate, you'll do. But it might be more like a 3 and 3 or a 4 and 2. So instead of having 5 meal replacements and 1 lean and green, maybe you have, on certain days you have 4 4 meal replacements and 2 lean greens, or 3 meal replacements and 3 lean greens. Or there might be a day where you don't have any meal replacements, but you're eating, 6 times a day. So it's like, every day, what could you control to put yourself into a maintenance? Like, what are the healthy choices that you could make that day? Knowing that you're not going to be in fat burning when you choose option 3, but you absolutely have that choice this holiday season. So then,
I think there's there's actually a 4th choice.
Yes, let's hear about the 4th choice.
Well, I just think that having no plan is an option, because that's your plan, is to not have a plan, and that's okay if that's something that you want. And you have to just know that you'll likely gain weight over the holidays, and as your health coaches, if that's okay with you, then that's okay with us. But what I love about our program is that I know what we have, and when you decide that you are ready, if you do opt to just kind of have a free for all, or just just kind of coast through the rest of the year until January and then hit the ground running because you think it's a mental thing or whatever, I know that what we have is powerful and it works. And as your health coaches, we'll be here to get you going when you're ready.
Yes. So with that said, though, if you do choose to thrive and enter 2015 with momentum, you have so many opportunities to choose to make good choices that are in line with your goals. And we're going to get into like specifically what that will look like. But I really encourage you, like I thought this e-card was funny. It's there's always something. Like right now it's Thanksgiving. Next month it's Christmas. Then it'll be New Year's, then it'll be Valentine's Day, then it'll be St. Patrick's Day. I mean, you could pick a holiday every month that's going to keep you from achieving your goals if you wanted to. So know that doesn't have to be your reality. You can thrive and enter the new year like already chipping away at that New Year's resolution. So let's talk about, I'll be very honest, like when I first saw these structural tension charts, I was like, what? And then for a little bit, I used them as a to-do list, or, but really what it is if you think about like this bottom box as your current reality, and current reality isn't an acquired taste. Like it's getting real with yourself. Where are you at? And so that might look like, the holidays are a hard time usually. These are your triggers. Like what is really going on and where are you at? Are you, 10 pounds from your goal? Are you 15 pounds from your goal? And then focusing on what is your desired outcome? Like let yourself dream a little bit. Like what could happen over the next month? Do you want to maintain? Like, would that be a success? Do you want to lose, or do you really just like gonna go off the rails and have no plan? Like, what is your desired outcome? So, and then it's really like putting in the action steps of what's gonna get you there. And so for me, like I am like an extrovert. So, like, oh, it's in my head. No, but like that is not, like, it's so much more powerful when you actually write it down. So, what are the action steps that are going to get you there? So if you go with option 1, committing to the 5-in-1, drinking your water, getting your sleep, carrying your meal replacement. So, I really say pad yourself, like have them in your glove box, have them in your purse. So you're never stranded and you're never like having to being forced into a bad choice because you weren't prepared. And we know like all of those things connect. Or if you're going to do daily exercise, what is that going to entail? Or 3 times a week, or, even just being active and doing, like, I'm going to always park as far from the grocery store as I can, or I'm going to walk the dog every day. Like, what are those action steps, and putting them in there as well. So then you have that written down and it becomes more of a reality. So let's see. Changing the slide. And so then once you have those action steps written down, so then when it comes to something that's going to take you off plan, it's going to take you off your 5-in-1. Like if you're at work and someone brings in like the pumpkin pie, then that's when you use stop, challenge, and choose. And this is like a, the more you use this, the sharper it gets. So it's really like in the first couple times, like you're going to be like, okay, this just seems like a lot of mumbo jumbo, but really once you start doing it, like you'll be able to stop in the moment. I mean, it's a split second challenge. Like, is this going to get me closer to what I want? And then choose and know that that's the power is in the third step, to know that it is absolutely your choice. So, that, and the more that you practice it, like start now, the more you practice it, by the time Christmas rolls around, like you're going to be a pro. Now let's get into like the real, then like what are the tips that are going to actually help move you forward and help you thrive? So number one, like I love this, and I learned this like maybe about a year ago, but when you're starting program, like most people come in wanting to get healthy and they think of themselves as an unhealthy person trying to make healthy choices. But like I would challenge you this season, think of yourself as a healthy person. Like that's who you are. And every choice you make, you're a healthy person, and maybe you make an unhealthy choice. Like that's so much more freeing than being the unhealthy person trying so hard at the Christmas party to make healthy choices. So give yourself some grace. This holiday season, like we are not perfect. Nobody is. Your journey is not going to be perfect. And then also like in that, like you're going to have your structural attention in your plan, and you're going to have it written down what you want. Because trust me, like the unhealthy choices you make are going to be a lot less severe when you have a plan written down of what you want, because that's always going to be in the back of your mind. And then also make sure your plan is realistic. Like I've done this so many times. Like I'm going to work out every single day. No, you're not. Like life is going to get in the way. Like, so I'm going to work out 3 times a week. And then I'm going to do something active on the other days. Or, like if you say I'm going to avoid all baked goods. If option 1 is your choice, then that's great. But if you're just looking to be in maintenance, like that might not be a realistic plan. So, these are the 3 days over the next 34, was it, Tracy, that I'm gonna go off plan. And so that's when I'll enjoy the baked goods. So like knowing that is a little bit easier to, and it gives power to the days that you are going to stay on plan. So Amber, I know we were kind of discussing today about like an event you were talking with your hairdresser. So you want to talk a little bit about number 4?
Yeah, that brings us to number 4, and that's just anticipating each event. And let me just say, first of all, that, you don't have to attend every event. You're going to get invited to the big stuff, the family things, the work parties, and then you'll have a handful of other things you're invited to. And you just have to ask yourself, why are these events important to you, basically? And yes, I was telling you today, I got invited to, it was a happy hour. It was at the salon where I get my hair done. And I was real candid with my friend and hairdresser, and told her that I was going to pass because I was really trying to make healthy choices and stay on program. And that honestly, that environment would just be a trigger for me. And I know her well enough, and it was a situation where I could, I knew I wasn't going to hurt her feelings. And it felt good to be just completely transparent with her. So asking yourself, why is the event important, and giving yourself the option to say no. And then if it is something that you need to, attend or want to attend, that's fine too. There's still some strategies you can implement. You can, obviously if it's a short event, it's easier to navigate versus a long event. But again, it all goes back to having a plan, and maybe telling yourself you can have 1 plate and loading that plate with more veggies or proteins than the sweets. Finding out if you can what the menu is ahead of time. I did this with a family event. I called my mother-in-law, and I knew that they were doing chicken spaghetti, and that wasn't something that was going to support me on plan. And she was totally supportive and gracious enough to actually set some of the grilled chicken aside for me, and I just had a grilled chicken salad, and it wasn't a big deal. No one noticed, and if they did, it wasn't an issue anyway. So it was really great that I, instead of just worrying about it and going and eating because I was afraid that I was going to offend somebody or whatever, I was able to support my goals still. If it's something you can eat ahead of time, and the event's not going to be long, you won't have to chew on a celery stalk for 4 hours straight, then I would encourage you to do that. If it's something that maybe you could save your lean and green, your favorite lean and green, as a meal afterward, just as something to look forward to. And this all goes back to also, that's one of the benefits of having a health coach, and that's what we're here for. I've had a lot of people reach out to me in private messages and say, oh my gosh, we're going here. We just got invited by our neighbors to go to this restaurant. How do I stay on plan? And I love helping them navigate and come up with some strategies. And that's our role. This is why we do what we do and why we love it. We love supporting and helping you guys. So, and then that leads us actually to number 5, which is tighten up your home court. And your home court is basically just the normal moments of your life, what your environment is, where you spend the majority of your time. So over the holidays, in the kitchen, at your house, there's a lot of things that you can do. Maybe in the past, if you've baked a lot of things for teacher gifts or for neighbors, you could possibly do something that's not edible. Stay away from edible gifts this year, just so you don't have those potential
I think we lost you, Ember.
Because I know that sleep is important, and it's something most people or most adults say they don't get enough of. And so I love that that's something that I can give. It's a great stocking stuffer. Some things you can do in the kitchen when you're cooking: chewing gum. I've heard also, never, but I also heard that if you chew gum, mint gum in particular, while you're grocery shopping or while you're cooking, it's actually suppresses your appetite, or doesn't make the smells are not quite as enticing. So that's something you can do. I even heard someone say you could rub Vicks Vapor Rub on your top lip. So I don't know if you want to lube up like that at that point. That would be extreme, but it is an option. What else? I also love now to keep raw veggies in my refrigerator with just those little, looks like the shower cap covers. So I keep raw broccoli and carrots for my kids, and it's nice to have something that you can crunch on that is not going to get you into a lot of trouble. Again, sipping on the tea, or at night sometimes just a cup of decaf coffee, something that requires you to sip on longer. So lots of things you can do to tighten up your home court.
Awesome. I love it. Tracy, you want to take us into the next 4 tips?
Okay. So number 6, gifting yourself healthy activities. And this kind of goes into what Ember was saying about giving yourself the gift of time to relax, whether that's your cup of hot tea or a nice warm bath, or kind of just taking a deep breath, soaking in what's going on around you. This is the holiday season, and for me, in past years, it's always been a lot of hustle and bustle and a lot of sort of agony, because my husband works in retail. So it's not usually the most joyful time, but I'm really focusing for myself on finding the joy this year, and like stopping and smelling roses, I guess, essentially. Whether it's you exchange gifts with your spouse to have a gym membership, or for some people that are thinking about going on our program, maybe it is that this year. So just giving yourself sort of the gifts of health, and those are small steps. So those are very small daily changes that we can make. For sometimes it's a big thing, like committing yourself to the gym membership or something like that. But along with that is just celebrating every victory. So don't let those things go unnoticed. If you commit to option number 2 and you actually do it, don't let that go unnoticed. Whether it's by your family, your friends, or your spouse. I mean, we are your health coaches are here to celebrate that with you. So by all means, like, let us do that for you, because we don't want January 1st to roll around and you did great. I mean, even talking about numbers, Sherry mentioned earlier that on average, the American gained 7 pounds during the holidays. So if you roll into 2015 and exactly what you weigh right now, you win, right? Like, that's a big win. So let's not let that be little. And then number 8 is processing what happened. So if we're driving, like another thing that Sherry said is that no one does this perfectly. This is not going to be a perfect journey, and we don't expect that from anyone. But along with that is just learning from it, looking at what happens this holiday season and learning from it. So next year, when y'all have lost all the weight that you wanted to or became health coaches, we're going to look back at this year and think, oh my goodness, we did this, but we're going to do so much better this year. And then one of my favorite illustrations, I guess, of that is if you were to say choose option 2 or option 3 or option 1 even, and you fall off, you don't quite do what you committed to with your structural tension chart. Are you just going to completely throw in the towel? Well, I hope not, because realistically, if I'm driving out to go see Eric at Target in Nampa and I miss the exit, am I going to just keep driving on to Oregon? I don't think so. I'm probably going to just take the next exit and turn around. But we have to know that. We have to be conscious of it, I guess. And if you derail a little bit over the holiday season, whether it's you chose option 3 and you fell to option, or chose option 1 and fell to option 3, whatever it is, but you end up maintaining your current weight, or there's going to be a victory in there somewhere. We're not all going to just completely fall off the wagon. But the biggest thing is just giving yourself the grace to learn from it and then do exactly that. Figure out what you can do better next year, and we're going to adapt and adjust to that in the future. I mean, life is learning, and if you're going to fail forward.
Awesome. I love that, the highway example, because it's so true. Like, who would just keep going? You know, like you get off and you correct. So hopefully those tips were helpful. Like, we just kind of want to wrap up with enjoy yourself over the holidays. Enjoy your friends and family. You know, and it doesn't have to be about the food. Like, if we can just take the power away from the food and just enjoy each other's company, and then you never know who you could be influencing. Like, I think these pictures speak 1,000 words. Like, you could be the catalyst to help your family choose health. Like, you don't know who's watching, and you don't know who you could be giving hope to. And so while you might think like everyone's looking at you like, why aren't you eating the pie? They could just be looking like, I want that. Like, I want that hope, and I want that freedom. So you never know who you know you could be inspiring, and you could be the catalyst for change for your family. I know that Daryl and I definitely were. So just keep that in mind. So we thank you guys so much for being on the webinar. We hope that you found it helpful, and then we'll go ahead and open up for any questions if anybody has anything. Does anybody want to come off mute and ask anything? Good. Well, I know we said we'd keep it short. We went a little bit over. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.